You woke up today. Same bed, same ceiling, same aching feeling in your chest that something is wrong. But you can't name it. That feeling has a name. It's called betrayal, self-betrayal. Every morning you hit snooze. You betrayed yourself. Every time you said, "I'll start Monday," you betrayed yourself. Every scroll, every excuse, every "I'm just tired" was a small, quiet act of self-sabotage, and it's been happening for years. You didn't notice because it never happens all at once. Nobody wakes up one day and decides to destroy their own life. It happens one snooze button at a time, one skipped workout, one unfinished project, one apology to yourself that you never actually meant. And now you're here, staring at a version of yourself you don't recognize. Let me tell you something that's going to feel like a slap to the face, and I need it to. You are not lazy. You are not unmotivated. You are comfortable. And comfortable is a disease that kills dreams slower than any failure ever could. Failure teaches you. Comfort erases you. Right now, somewhere out there, someone with less talent than you, less intelligence than you, less opportunity than you, is doing the thing you keep saying you'll do, later. And later is a lie you tell yourself to protect your ego from the discomfort of trying and possibly losing. You'd rather stay a mystery than risk becoming a failure. That's the real addiction. Not your phone, not the snacks, not the shows you binge until 20 a.m. The real addiction is potential. Living in what I could be feels safer than becoming what you actually are. Because as long as you haven't tried, you can't be rejected. You can't be exposed. You can't be told, "Not good enough." So you sit in the waiting room of your own life, scrolling, stalling, soothing yourself with promises you have no intention of keeping. And deep down, you know it. That's why the guilt hits at 11 p.m. That's why you can't sleep some nights. That's why you feel that low, dull hum of disappointment in your own chest when you catch your reflection in a dark window. You're not tired from working too hard. You're exhausted from betraying yourself every single day on repeat. So today that ends. Not tomorrow. Not Monday. Not after this next show. Today, let's rip the bandage off completely. You've been telling yourself a story where you're the victim. Bad childhood, bad boss, bad luck, bad timing. And listen, some of that might be true. Life isn't fair. Some people start 10 steps ahead. Some people were handed advantages you'll never get. But here's the part that stings. None of that is an excuse anymore. It was an explanation for where you started. It is not a life sentence for where you stay. The moment you understand this, you become dangerous. Because most people never make it here. Most people stay stuck in the explanation forever, using it as a permanent shield, a permanent excuse, a permanent identity. I'm like this because of what happened to me. And that sentence becomes a cage they build with their own hands, and then complain they can't get out of. You are allowed to feel the pain of your past. You are now allowed to let it run your future. Because your future doesn't care about your past. Your bills don't care. Your body doesn't care. Opportunity doesn't wait around for your healing arc to finish on your own schedule. The world moves whether you're ready or not. And right now, it's moving without you. Let's talk about the excuse machine in your head. That voice, you know the one. It's smooth, it's convincing, it sounds like it's protecting you. You're too tired today. You deserve a break. You can start fresh next week. It'll hit different. That voice is not your friend. That voice is a parasite that feeds on your comfort and grows stronger every time you listen to it. And the worst part, it's not trying to destroy you in one moment. It's patient. It's playing the long game. It wants you numb, distracted, and stagnant for years, until one day you look up and you're 40, 50, 60 years old wondering where your life went. That voice has been winning for a long time. Today you take the fight back. Here's the truth about discipline that nobody puts on a motivational poster. Discipline doesn't feel good in the moment. It never does. If it felt good, everyone would already have it. Discipline feels like hell for the first 30 seconds, and then it feels like power for the rest of your life. Motivation is a spark. It's unreliable. It shows up when it wants and disappears the second things get hard. You cannot build an empire on something that abandons you the moment it gets uncomfortable. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline shows up at 5 a.m. when your body is screaming to stay in bed. Discipline finishes the project when the excitement wore off 3 weeks ago. Discipline is the thing separating the people living the life they dreamed of from the people still dreaming. You don't need more motivation videos. You've watched 1,000 of them. You know that already. What you need is to become someone who acts regardless of how they feel. That's it. That's the entire secret hiding behind every success story you've ever envied. Not talent, not luck, not some secret system. Action, despite feeling. Let's go deeper. Because there's a psychological trap most people fall into and never escape. And it's brutal once you see it. It's called identity lock. You've told yourself a story about who you are for so long that your brain now protects that story like it's sacred truth. I'm just not a disciplined person. I've always been like this. That's just who I am. Your brain doesn't know the difference between an identity and a cage. It will defend both with the exact same intensity. So when you try to change, when you try to wake up early, eat clean, work hard, chase the goal, your own brain sabotages you. Not because it hates you, because it's trying to keep the story consistent. Consistency feels safe to your nervous system, even when the story is destroying you. This is why New Year's resolutions die by January 10th. This is why gym memberships spike in January and crash by February. It's not weakness. It's identity fighting change, and identity usually wins. Until you make a decision so loud, so absolute, so non-negotiable, that your old identity has no choice but to die. You don't ease into becoming a new person. You kill the old one. Think about every version of yourself you've outgrown already. The kid who was scared of things you laugh at now. The version of you 3 years ago who thought a completely different life was the dream. That person is gone. You killed them already, without even trying, just through time. Now you're going to do it on purpose, with intention, with violence, if that's what it takes. Here's your new law. Starting right now, you do the hard thing fiercely, every single day, before comfort, before scrolling, before the excuses even have a chance to load up in your brain. Whatever the one task is that you've been avoiding for weeks, that email, that workout, that conversation, that application, that becomes the very first thing you do. Not after coffee, not after getting in the mood. First. Because here's the secret: the task was never actually hard. The anticipation was hard. The dread sitting in your stomach for days was hard. The actual task, once you start it, is almost always over in 20 minutes. You've been letting a 20-minute task hold your entire life hostage for weeks, sometimes years. That ends today. Let's talk about pain for a second, because you're going to feel pain either way. This is the one truth that changes everything once you accept it. There are 2 types of pain in this life: the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. Discipline hurts for a moment, waking up early, pushing through the workout, sitting down to grind when you'd rather relax. But it's over fast, and it leaves you stronger. Regret doesn't work like that. Regret doesn't visit for a moment. Regret moves in. It sits with you at 3 a.m. It follows you into job interviews you didn't prepare for. It sits next to you at reunions watching people who took the shot you were too scared to take. Regret compounds. It gets heavier every single year. You avoid the thing you know you need to do. You are going to feel pain no matter what path you choose. The only question is which pain you're willing to carry. Choose the pain that builds you. Choose the ounces. Because the tons will crush you slowly, silently, for the rest of your life if you let them. Now let's expose the excuses one by one, because I want you to hear how weak they actually sound out loud. I don't have time. You have the same 24 hours as everyone who ever built something extraordinary out of nothing. You have time for 4 hours of content a day, but not 30 minutes for your future. That's not a time problem. That's a priority problem wearing a disguise. I'm scared of failing. Good. Fear means it matters. But you're not actually scared of failing. You already know failure is survivable. You've failed before and you're still breathing. What you're really scared of is other people watching you try and not succeed instantly. You're terrified of being witnessed while imperfect. Let that go. Because the people judging you from the sidelines, they're not living. They're commentating. Don't let commentators control the direction of the athlete. I don't know where to start. You know exactly where to start. You've known for months. The plan isn't the missing piece. Courage is the missing piece, and you're using confusion as a socially acceptable mask for fear. What if people laugh at me? Let them laugh now. Because in a year, when you've changed everything about your life through relentless consistency, those same people will be asking you how you did it. Lauder now, respect later. That trade is always worth taking. Every excuse you've ever used has one thing in common. It protects your comfort at the cost of your future. And comfort does not care about you. Comfort will let you rot slowly with a smile on its face. So here's what happens from this point forward. You stop negotiating with yourself. You don't ask your feelings for permission to act anymore. Feelings are unreliable narrators. They lie constantly. They tell you you're too tired when you're actually just avoiding. They tell you tomorrow is better when tomorrow never actually arrives, because tomorrow always becomes today, and today always finds a new excuse. You become someone who moves regardless. Cold, move anyway. Tired, move anyway. Scared, move anyway, especially then because fear is usually pointing directly at the exact thing you need to walk toward. Here's a rule that will change your entire trajectory if you actually apply it. When you feel resistance to doing something productive, that resistance is a compass. It's pointing straight at growth. The things you avoid the most are usually the things that would change your life the fastest. You don't run from resistance anymore. You chase it down like it owes you money. Let's talk about the people around you, because this part is uncomfortable and most people skip it. Your environment is either building you or quietly killing you, and there is no neutral option. If the people around you mock ambition, mock discipline, mock trying too hard, they are not your support system. They are an anchor disguised as friendship, and anchors don't care if you drown, as long as you drown together. You don't need to announce a dramatic exit from anyone's life. But you need to be honest with yourself about who inspires you to level up, and who quietly makes you feel guilty for wanting more than what they settled for. Misery loves company. But greatness demands solitude, at least for a season. You might need to get comfortable being the only one in your circle who's actually changing. That loneliness is temporary. Staying the same forever is not. Now, let's rebuild you from the ground up. Here's your operating system going forward, and I need you to actually absorb this, not just nod along and forget it in 10 minutes like every other video you've watched. Rule 1: you move before you're ready. Readiness is a myth designed to keep you waiting forever. Nobody feels ready. The people who made it started when they were terrified, underprepared, and unqualified on paper. They just moved anyway. Rule 2: you track your word. Every promise you make to yourself and break erodes your own trust in yourself. And self-trust is the actual foundation of confidence, not affirmations, not mirror talk, not vision boards. If you say you'll wake up at 6 a.m. and you don't, you just taught your own brain that your word means nothing. Do that enough times and you become someone who can't trust their own decisions. Keep your word to yourself like your life depends on it, because eventually it will. Rule 3: you stop seeking comfort and start seeking growth. Comfort and growth cannot occupy the same room. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. Period. The moment something starts to feel easy, it's time to make it harder. Because ease is the sound of stagnation whispering that you can relax now. You can't. Not yet. Maybe not for a long time. Rule 4: you finish what you start. Not because every project deserves finishing, but because you need the practice of finishing. Every unfinished task you leave behind trains your brain that quitting is an option whenever things get boring or hard. Break that pattern violently. Finish the book. Finish the course. Finish the workout program. Even if it turns out to be the wrong path, finish it. Then pivot. Never quit out of comfort, only pivot out of clarity. Rule 5: you stop asking, what if it doesn't work? Flip the question. What if it does? What if 6 months of relentless, uncomfortable consistency actually changes the entire trajectory of your life? What if the version of you on the other side of this discomfort is someone your current self wouldn't even recognize? You've spent years rehearsing worst-case scenarios. Start rehearsing the version where you actually pull this off. Let's talk about time, because time is the resource you keep pretending is infinite. It's not. Every single day you spend paralyzed by fear, distracted by comfort, frozen by the excuse machine in your head, is a day that never comes back. You don't get a refund on wasted years. There's no customer service line for regret. The clock doesn't pause while you figure out your feelings. You will be a certain age in 5 years regardless of what you do right now. The only question is whether you'll be 5 years further into the life you actually want, or 5 years deeper into the same cycle of almosts in some days. Someday is not a day of the week. Write that down somewhere you'll actually see it. Here's the final truth, the one I need you to sit with long after this video ends. Nobody is coming to save you. No mentor is going to magically appear and hand you discipline. No sign from the universe is going to arrive that's so obvious you finally feel ready. No perfect moment is waiting on the other side of more waiting. You are the moment. Right now. Today is the closest you will ever be to becoming the version of yourself you keep imagining in daydreams and scrolling past on other people's highlight reels. Stop being a spectator in your own life. Stop negotiating with your own excuses like they deserve a seat at the table. Stop treating your dreams like a hobby you'll get serious about eventually, while treating your distractions like sacred obligations you can never miss. You have exactly one life. One. Not a rough draft, not a rehearsal. This is the version that counts, and it's happening right now whether you participate or not. So make the decision. Not a soft, wishy-washy, I'll try decision. A violent, immovable, bone-deep decision. Decide that the old version of you, the one who snoozed the alarm, who scrolled instead of building, who talked about the dream instead of chasing it. Decide that version dies today. Not fades. Dies. And in its place, someone new steps forward. Someone who moves regardless of feeling. Someone who keeps their word to themselves without exception. Someone who chooses the ounces of discipline over the tons of regret every single day without needing to be convinced twice. That person has been inside you the entire time, buried under years of comfort fear and borrowed excuses that were never even yours to begin with. Today you dig them out. Today you stop being a bystander in a life that was always supposed to belong to you. Get up. Do the hard thing first. Keep your word. And never for one more single day let comfort convince you that later is the same thing as now. Because it isn't. Later is where dreams go to quietly disappear. Now is the only place anything has ever actually been built, so build.